start of the end. Hi, I'm Michaela, this is Meekela Reads. I live here and I have been reading A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara since the 4th of September, which is entirely too long to have only made it halfway through the book. You're probably wondering how I got here. So let me catch you up. We started slow. I couldn't read more than maybe 3 pages at a time, night after night after night. So I bought it as an electronic copy so that I could make it less daunting to start with, because the book is incredibly condensed with tiny words on many pages, and so that I could read out in public, which was great because I could read it at work, I could read it at pubs, I could read it anywhere I wanted. We were thriving. It took me until Last Bernard Street to become invested, which is still under the 100-page mark. It's around about chapter 3. But once I was in, I thought I was good to go. I was not. Hence why I'm coming to you 3 months later to finish reading the book. After a month, we made it a quarter of the way through before I decided to put the brakes on to plan for leaving the country to take a trip internationally. At this point in time, The Postman was my favorite chapter, and it may still be at this point in time of reading the book. We traveled, I went overseas, I read probably another quarter of the book in between traveling between different cities, different countries, and now we're here. I'm on page 370 out of 720. So welcome once again to the start of the end, or at least the start of my end. I hope you enjoy your stay. I'm literally giving myself 3 days to finish this book, which I think is achievable given how emotionally invested I am right now. I still remember every single thing that has happened from the start of the book up until the halfway point, and I have, in reading a synopsis to make sure I did understand everything, read a spoiler for the chapter that I'm about to read, which is really disappointing but also not unexpected. I'm ready to feel feelings, I'm ready to be emotionally wounded, I'm ready to finish reading A Little Life. This is not a little book, this is not a little life. This has taken over my life. So let's go. Let's have a good time. Are you here to have a good time with me? I hope you're here to have a good time with me. So by my calculations, to finish this book in 3 days, I need to read about 117 pages a day, which I think I can do. I think that that's plausible, but I also just bought the new Pokemon and I'm having a really great time with that right now, and I also have life things to do, like grocery shopping tonight. So far it's just been a bit like taxing to read lots of it, not necessarily because of the content, but just because of the sheer size of it. The mental block that comes from that, and just my general lack of commitment to anything that I'm worried about ending, which is this book. 117 pages, I can do. Let's go. I genuinely think my neighbors are like shredding trees right now. So I'll be quick. We've taken a hot pause. I've made it to page 407, so we've read like 20 pages maybe. It's still very much light outside. It is currently 7:20 at night. I just want to clarify, this is nighttime, which is insane. I have to go to grocery shopping, that's why we've actually stopped, but I'm going to take a quick break to, exercise the dogs before I brave the shopping centre, because the shops at Christmas time is genuinely wild, but we have no food in the houses, so I have to. Can you see this? Can you see how light it is? It is 10 past 8 at night. Crazy. Okay, grocery haul. Pea snaps, Vegemite and cheese shapes, because if you haven't eaten these, you haven't lived. Coffee, crackers. 2 kinds of bread. Brown sugar, muesli bars, dishwashing liquid, canned tomatoes, because we're lazy in this household. Flavored beans, because we're lazy in this household. Eggs, a mango, an avocado, bananas, pasta, potatoes, milk, cookies, sausages, maxi bonds, and the most important thing of the entire shop, eggnog. Because it's Christmas, and it's not Christmas without eggnog. Thank you for coming shopping with me. That was fun. Let's go read some more. Okay, hi. So we closed out last night just under the 120 pages that I'd set myself to read because we finished on a chapter and there was like 4 or 5 pages left before I hit where I needed to hit. That was so heavy. Last night was so traumatic. I genuinely, you saw it, I had to stop. I think the thing that I'm enjoying the most, I enjoy the book. I'm enjoying the book. I feel weird saying that I'm enjoying the book because it's so heavy and it's so traumatic. I don't know if you can see, I have a tab system and the blue tabs are the trauma bits. There's a trend here. The blue is what I read last night. There is a section in here that is from the perspective of JB. So far it's the part of the book that has hit me probably the closest in my experience, which is so ironic because I hate JB as a character. There's a few things that he said in this like section. Everyone had been so much more entertaining than what had happened. Age, he guessed, and with it jobs, money, children, the things to forestall death, the things to ensure one's relevance, the things to comfort and provide context and content. And I guess it really reflects on holding on to nostalgia and holding on to things to make them the way that they were before, and the drive to hold on to that, and how as we grow, people grow apart and people grow away, and then trying to really get back to that point in your life where before you had people who you were really close with and you never really thought you were happy, but when you look back on it, you actually were happy. And it's almost this feeling of grief and loss of losing something or a time in your life that was where you weren't necessarily happy, but looking back on it, it was a really happy time filled with really beautiful people and really beautiful friendships that were just so fundamentally precious. But unfortunately, things don't last forever in that sense, and moving through the grief and processing of that being lost, which just hit a little too close to home. JB's existential crisis is something that, though I don't like him, I can relate to. But where I'm up to now, we're in the happy days. Thank everything that there is that we're in the happy days right now, because I don't think I could cope if we continued where we were in the axiom of equality. So I have 120 pages to read tonight, which will put us at page 600, hopefully. I'll get through this much tonight. Am I ready? I don't know. I just dropped one of my tomatoes. Oh no. Okay, hi. So we have about 70 pages left for the night. The happy days are not so happy, and I'm not happy that the happy days are not happy anymore. I knew it was coming, I was not prepared. And it's not like I'm surprised about what has come either. Like, I expected this also. This is not surprising information to me to be coming out. But yeah, worried. I'm worried, but I haven't cried yet. I have not shed any tears. Tears have not fallen from my eyeballs at this point in time. I've felt so many things in this book. I've felt every single emotion. I've been happy, I've been sad, I've been hurt, I've been traumatized, I've felt frustration, I've felt hatred, I've felt every emotion inside of 530 pages. I'm just waiting for this, like, the entrenched, deep, harrowing sadness that I am assuming is coming. I'm ready.
Today's the day! The sun is shining, the tank is clean.
Today's the day. Today is the day that we finish reading A Little Life. Today is the end of the end. We ended last night. Every time I thought that it was going to get better, it just got worse. Every single time. The happy days were not happy. So I'm technically still in the happy years. We've hit page 600. It's nice to know that we know the whole story, I think. Although Kirsty said it gets worse, so I'm concerned. I'm just worried, I'm scared. I'm scared about what the next 120 pages is going to do to me. I might be fine, who knows? I could be fine with this. This might turn out okay. So let's strap in and go down the bend of the emotional roller coaster. Let's ride the end of it. I am equally happy and sad to be getting off this ride. Anyway, let's read. Let's do it. I'm ready for the end. I'm ready for it to happen. Are you ready for the end with me? Are you ready to experience this? I don't think you're ready for this jelly. Thank you. I made it. 35 pages. This is not what I had planned. This is not what I wanted. I will have it be known that I now see the value of JB's character, begrudgingly. Hi, it's the next day. We finished reading A Little Life last night at about 10 o'clock-ish. I have so many emotions still. I rocked up to work this morning. One of my colleagues looked at me and goes, "Have you been crying?" Because my face was still so puffy and my eyes were still so red from crying for literally 3 hours straight, trying to finish the end of the book. This is now for sure one of my favorite books that I have ever read, and I do not think that I will ever actively recommend anyone ever read it, because to want someone who I love or who I admire and respect or like care about, I think it's cruel to recommend that they read this book for so many different reasons. If you want to read this book and you want to go through it, absolutely go right ahead. It's a good book. It's just not for everyone. But I've never been so broken emotionally from reading a book, or really like ever, to be honest. I think I was not this upset in any of my breakups. I was not this upset like when I was a young child who felt emotions more than most of the people around her and couldn't regulate them. Not even then did I feel as many emotions as what I experienced last night. So I guess throughout the story of A Little Life, we really get to know and we get to walk alongside these 4 characters throughout literally 40 years. We get to know these characters over 40 years, and I think because I read it over a span of September, October, November, almost 4 months, it's been with me for so long that I feel like I've walked this really long path with them as well. Obviously the size helps with that. The sheer amount of content that you go through in this, particularly in the end, is rough, but it does what it came here to do. It gets you emotionally invested, and you get to know them. You get to know them like people that you would know in your life. None of them are perfect. Every character is flawed. We don't get to explore some of the characters deeply enough, I don't think. I think that there is probably quite a few that we maybe didn't get to see as much. Harold and Julia are the real MVPs of the entire story, and I will stand by that forever. The writing within the pages is also quite dense, but it's so descriptive in a way that really accurately conveys the emotions of what is going on, and it manipulates your emotions really well, or at least it manipulated my emotions really well. There's so much trauma. Like, it got to a point where I was like, surely someone would have said something at some point. Surely this much trauma could not happen in one life. But so many people hate this book. I was reading reviews and it is polarizing, and I can kind of see, like, I see why. It's not an easy story to like, it's not an easy story to experience or to read, and not every book is for every person, and I don't think that this book is a book for every person. I think people are gonna like what they're gonna like, and sometimes that might not be this. It is something that I like, but not everyone is gonna like every book, and especially not books like this that are so overwhelming and so wholly emotionally consuming, with trauma and with love and with friendship and with pure mundanity of life that is just so colorful and harrowing. I feel like the content of A Little Life is so fundamentally raw and exposed, and it did not hold back at all. So naturally a book like that is gonna be polarizing, and that makes so much sense, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion about it. I just happen to be one of the people that really liked it. And so marks the end of A Little Life. Have you read A Little Life? What side do you sit on? Did you like it? Did you hate it? I don't think that I will ever find a book that hits me as emotionally hard as A Little Life did, and I fear that I'm ruined for reading forever. But it was great, I loved it. But anyway, that's it for this 4-month journey for me. Take everything I say with a grain of salt and with a solid content warning, and if you're gonna read the book, and if you're not gonna read the book, then that's also fine. We can still be friends, this is fine. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're having a fantastic day or night or whatever time it is where you are in the world, and I will see you next week. Bye!